And so tonight, last night of the tour. Yeah. Sad day. But any surprises for tonight? It's the last night.
We haven't talked about it.
Kind of. A lot of times it depends on the audience. You know, if they push us, we can do some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Last night.
So I have to fire him up just because. Yeah. Okay.
We were in Groningen last night at that place called the Oosterpoort. It's a great place. We always have good shows there. And the energy was just, by the time we got to the end where we normally are finishing up, it was obvious to all of us, and we'd all just look at each other like, let's keep going.
We can't stop.
And so we threw in a couple of dance numbers, and everybody was going crazy, and it was just really fun. So you never know. Hopefully tonight will be the same way.
How do you come up with a set list? Is it every night the same, or do you switch it?
Because there's almost half the show is new songs, and we have so many things coordinated with lighting and the sound and changing guitars. We have to kind of write a set list, and it evolves during the tour where it changes a little bit, but we try to make it to where we're building the show and we pace it in a certain way. So once we find a good rhythm and stuff, we try to stay with it, because the show now really like builds up to a climax at the end, whereas if you just switch it up all the time, it's like sometimes you're right, sometimes we shouldn't have done that. And when you got this many people in the crew and the lighting having to coordinate and time everything with the lights moving, if we did that every night, they would just kill us.
It's such a shame, though. Every damn time that we do a tour, right when you get to the end, the last 2 or 3 shows, you're finally getting good. Yeah. It's like now we're ready to go on tour. It's there's no way around it. You have to get 10 or 15 shows be done, and then you start really getting comfortable. So tonight's going to be really great because we're
we picked the right night then tonight. Yeah. And the band, you've got Mark Harris, of course, who's been with you a long time. There's Jamie Wallum, drums, John Wallum, and you got Jesper.
Yeah.
And is this the first time, because you had Nick Bolt before?
Right.
And now
we
Jesper?
had Jasper once before for a festival we did, and he also toured with my brother and Kip's cousin Mark on a little solo tour he did. And that's when we he is kind of stand-in for Nick Bolt. When Nick Bolt can't do, they call each other. So they knew each other. So Nick is the one that introduced us to him. Yeah. And Nick was doing, I think, House Maces or Gus Maces. Gus Meus. He was doing that tour, and there was only a few of our dates he could do, and he still wanted to do it. We were like, no, we got to go with one team and stay with it. Sorry. So we called Jasper, and he was able to do it. And we were really happy. He's just a great musician, and he just stepped in one rehearsal day, and he did the whole tour. So,
any favorites among the songs tonight? Do you have any favorite songs that you love to play
on the new album? You mean?
Well, tonight on the show tonight.
I love playing High So High. I love playing Mi Casa Es Su Casa, and of course I love playing the old favorites too, because it just it's a slam dunk. Like we know it's going to work. We know they're going to like it, so you don't have that nervous like, oh, I hope they like the new song.
Yeah,
so those are my 2 favorites.
Yeah, people ask us sometimes like, are you sick of singing the Family Tree or whatever? But how could you ever get sick of something that people love that much? You just never do. It's every time we do it, it's just fun and it's a joy. Everybody sings along, and so we don't.
Everybody waits. Everybody loves the new songs, but you have to play some. Yeah. And
we're fans before we're musicians, so we know that feeling of standing in the audience and wanting to hear those ones you came for. So we definitely know that feeling as well. But
we've been really surprised how many people say, I love the new song. Not one person has said, why did you play so many new songs? Which I would normally do, but I think it's a testament to how strong the album is and how much the fans really love it. And even before buying it, when the first tour started, not a lot of people even had the music. And they were already saying, I love the new songs. And, we're selling like record numbers of CDs. That's what's getting us in the charts is the CDs we're selling at the show. Not even as much in the stores as just at the show. People hear them, and they're curious, and they love them. They want to buy it. So been very lucky.
Yes. Okay, so that was 2013. Yeah. What about next year? You've been so busy this year. What's happening 2014?
Well, right now the plan is to, on March 28th of 2014, it will be our 15-year anniversary of coming to Holland, our very first show at Luxor Live in Arnhem. Yeah. And so our plan is to try to do just like 3 shows in Holland, celebrating the anniversary, to also kind of kick the record again, a little promotion, and remind people we're still here. And then we're hoping at that same time in spring to hit Germany, Paris or France, Denmark, and maybe Italy. We're working on those now. While we're here, we'll go there. And then in fall, we'll return for another theater tour.
Okay. So good news.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, now that we're done with the Roger Waters thing, in theory, you never know. With him, it could happen again, but it doesn't seem like it's going to. No. Now we can really make some real solid plans for Venice and come back more often. And I guess we got to start working on a new album at some point. But we got a little grace period right now.
Yeah. And about the Roger Waters, how did you get in? Did you have to audition or?
Sort of. We were recommended to him by one of the original singers on the original album, a guy named John Joyce, who sang on the original album, original tour. And Roger was looking for other guys. John said, well, the guys we used in 1980 are all retired, but I know this band that's exactly the sound you're looking for. So that's kind of how it worked. So then we started sending things to Roger. It was kind of funny because we were downloading iTunes karaoke versions of Pink Floyd and singing backgrounds on them and sending them to the real guy. It was really funny. And then eventually he came out and he came to Michael's house. It was really weird. It was like having Pete Townsend knock on your front door. And then we sang for him, and that's how it happened. So.
Okay. Yeah. Very. Yeah. You did the tour worldwide. What does that bring for Venice? The Roger Waters thing. Does it give you extra?
I think it adds credibility to the band to know that this band was, these vocals were chosen over anyone in the world to be his vocalist. That's the first thing it does. Second, it exposes us because it says, the names in the program and everything. And we have people like the head of the fan club in Spain that's now like promoting our new album and telling everyone. So it did open a lot of doors and a lot of awareness. They met a great radio DJ in Paris. That's part of the reason we're going there, because he's offered to support and loves the music now that he knows about Venice, that he didn't know about us. And so it definitely opened some doors and is a great, what we say in America, feather in our cap, like another good one, chalk one up for us, to help, just for saying, wow, these guys are real players. They're in that league of like the biggest tour in the world, and they were part of it. So that definitely doesn't hurt your reputation or your people know, hey, I want to check these guys out because of what we've done.
Okay. So to wrap it up, I just want to ask you, what are your personal influences from when you were young? What music did you listen to? Who inspired you to write these songs?
Wow, we're kind of a mixture of a lot of different things, including the fact that Michael and I grew up in two different houses across the boulevard from each other. But even then we had different kinds of musical influences because we grew up in different houses, and different eras as well. Because Pat's a little bit older than us, so if you asked each of us, we'd all have different things. We have a lot in common, like the Beatles and Beach Boys and Crosby, Stills, Nash, Eagles, and that kind of stuff. But the younger ones of us, we listen to a lot more R&B, and they listen to a lot more funk and stuff, and so it's hard to really say. But we grew up in our house listening to big band music and all different styles because of all of our older brothers and sisters. So we weren't just teenagers in our room listening to our generation's music. We were listening to lots of things. So it all comes out. It's funny on this album. Well, that's a different subject. But on this album, a lot more of that stuff is coming out, like Steely Dan and some soul and R&B stuff is more in this one.
Okay.
Well, as a guitar player, I was into Jeff Beck and Peter Frampton and Dave Mason and people like that. But a huge influence for me on guitar and production and producing records is Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac. Okay. I mean, just huge fan of his work and all the brilliant stuff he's done with them, and so those are the things. But I think on this album, a lot of our Stevie Wonder Motown influences are out more, and like old Hall & Oates, like some of their older white soul R&B kind of stuff. There's a lot of flavors of that, and like Kip said, Steely Dan, huge influence. Doobie Brothers, Allman Brothers, all that stuff, that kind of West Coast American, rock stuff. So
super.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for giving us the time. Good luck tonight.
Yeah.
We're an hour from the show. What are you going to do? You have 1 more hour left. Do you have a special thing you do for a show?
Lots of drugs.
I heat up my heroin, and I like to take it about 5 minutes before I go on stage, so it kicks in about the third set. No.
Very Venice. Very Venice. I do want to say, we said this to you earlier, but I want to say on the air that, we love supporting local radio stuff because that's what Venice is all about. It's always been about getting to know the local record store people. The local radio stations all across the United States were the ones that always supported our music the most because we come back and we treat them like the big ones because they are like the big ones. It's just people. Yeah. And many, many times the smaller stations are the ones that are in it for the right reasons, because they really believe in music and what music can do and bringing people together and everything. So we're really happy to do stuff like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah? Okay. Good luck tonight.
Okay.
Okay.